Okay, so I wanted to film a series of videos that walk through how to make one of these, and eventually the whole shawl from start to finish, based off of what I came up with for the one that I'd made earlier for the teacher at my kid's school. In the event that 20, 30 years from now, I want to make another one, I won't have to try and look through pictures and think about how I did it. I'll have a reference. So I'm going to release a series of videos, or rather record a series of videos as I have time and upload them. But the first video is going to be really simple, and it's going to involve the center 2 rows. So this is comprised, the structure of it is a total of 9 rows. Got for this, I have each color denotes 2 rows until you get to the last color, and this is done with 1 row, so it's the 9th row. But yeah, so I'm gonna start. I'm doing them in different colors because the next shawl that I'm making is going to be San Antonio Fiesta themed. So I actually need to make one of these in this banana color. So that is what I will be doing with this video. All right, so the yarn that I'm using for this, though, I could use any yarn. The specific yarn that I'm using, I got from Michael's art store. It is the Loops and Threads Silky Soft Rayon from Bamboo. There's 240 yards, it's 100 grams. And it recommends a 4mm hook. What I'm using for this, and also that previous shawl with the cotton thread I did, I'm using a 3.75. I just feel that it works better. I typically, I almost never use the recommended hook size. So, but anyway, that's what I'm using. This color happens to be boysenberry, but the color I'm going to be doing right now is banana. So start however you do it. If you do a magic circle, start a magic circle. If you don't know how to do a magic circle or struggle with it, you can always do the chain method. So let me see if I have my needle over here. If I do, then I will, okay. I will show how to do the chain method because that's easier for beginners. And honestly, it's easier for me with some things. So what you'll do is you'll make your slip stitch, or not your slip stitch, sorry, your slip knot. And then what I mean by slip knot is when you pull it, it undoes. There's different videos out there on how to make a slip knot. So I've made a slip knot with a long enough tail, and that's important because if you're not doing a magic knot or a magic ring as your start, you'll need to have a long enough tail so you can get this effect in the center where it's basically closed. All right, so I am going to chain 3. This is going to count as my first double crochet. So I now have 4 chains. I have my starting loop, if you will, and then I have my 3 chains that count as my first double crochet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a double crochet into that first chain. So now I have 2 double crochets. I'm going to continue on until I have a total of 12, which means the 11 that you've made plus the chain 3. So I'm going to count them including my chain as my double crochet. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Also, future me, your nails look so good this morning, but this stuff just comes right off. And I didn't think about that until after I started recording. And, I don't plan on starting over because life isn't perfect. So I just got to accept the imperfections when they happen. All right, so you can see there's quite a big hole, but that is why we have this and a long tail. So what you're going to do, just double check your count, make sure that you have your 12, which are the 11 you made plus that chain 3. You got one, I count by 3, so 3, 6, 9, and 12. You're going to slip stitch into that top chain 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This kind of looks, oh, sorry, the 1's actually right down there. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slip stitch into here. And now I'm actually going to, I'm going to finish it and then I'll show you how I close this hole. So I'm going to chain 3 again. This counts as my first double crochet. And I'm only doing this because I plan on closing it and switching over to another color at the end of this round. But technically you wouldn't need to do what I'm about to do. But anyway, so this next round, I'm going to work a double crochet in between my first double crochet and my last double crochet in the previous round. So I'm just going to go in right here. All right, so now I've got 2. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to work 3 double crochets into that same spot. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3. You're going to double crochet, you're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet in between these 2 different double crochets. So not into the top of the stitch, but in between the posts. So 1, 2, 3. Try that again. That's the one problem with this yarn is it's so easy to split. There we go. So there's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and now you're going to do the exact same thing again. You're going to skip 3 double crochet in between the 3rd and the 4th. You're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet to make another corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3. That's done. Chain 1, and again, skip 1, 2, 3. So now you should be working in between the 2 DCs that separate 3 on this side and 3 on that side. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Now here, if you remember, we did chain 3 to count as our first double crochet. We did a double crochet. We chained 1 and then we did 3. So what this corner here is missing is a double crochet. And the reason why I did it this way is so that I can do an invisible join so it looks more cohesive and so that I don't have to end on a chain space and weaving it in from a chain. I much rather weave it in from a double crochet instead. This is actually how I've been doing the granny squares for a blanket that I'm making for my brother. So you can see this looks a fair bit different from that, but we're going to rectify that shortly. So I have my rotary cutter over here. I can't find my scissors, so I'm just going to real quick cut myself a good length of tail. Not too long, but enough. And the first thing I'm going to do is secure this, right? So I didn't do a magic ring. It would have been a little bit easier, but I'm going to show you how to basically make a fake magic ring. You can see I got, this is the problem with this type of yarn. We get a little split here. Boop. Okay. So try and pinch them all together so you can weave them in all together. All right. So now I'm going to go in one direction, pull it tight, skip a post, and then go the other direction. So I'm going to go this way. And I'm just going inside of the posts where I had worked these double crochets into that first chain. I'm not going to pull it tight right now. Just working it in real loose like. So there we go. Doing it again right here. I started here, I'm over here now, and now I'm just going to go through here. So hopefully this makes sense. As you can see, the needle doesn't show through. I mean, obviously it does there, but that's because of where my needle is. But so it's quite on the back. Now comes hopefully the magic where I pull it tight. You won't be able to see this part because I do have to put a little bit of pressure here. It's the only way I know how to do it. I think I could hold it down and do it, but I feel like it wouldn't work right. So I'm kind of lightly pinching and then I'm pulling tight. And voila, you have your faux magic square. So I'm going to go just 2 or 3 posts this way to sort of help lock it in place. Then this is where you skip one of the posts to secure it. So you see this post right here. If I went back in right here, I'd end up losing the part that I've secured. So I'm going to skip it. Or I can go from behind this post here and go back the way I came. So I'm just going to really pull it tight. I'm going to go forward 1 post and then back. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll know if you did it right, if it undoes the tightness when you start going back. So I'm just going to weave back all the way through. There we go. All right, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. Let me snip this real quick and then I'll show you how I do sort of my invisible weave in. It's going to take a little bit more finesse with the rotary cutter because I'm not trying to cut. Come on, buddy. You can do it. There we go. Okay. So you would, I mean, if you hadn't seen me do it, this looks like a magic square. Or a magic square, haha, a magic knot. All right, so the last part of this sort of first step of the motif is almost done. So now I'm just going to do that invisible join that I was telling you about. I'm sure that's not the correct term, but see the anatomy of this stitch? Here's the stitch that you have. Here's your first double crochet. Here's your second. You know, normally you would work it through here when you slip stitch in. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go right here into the anatomy of that last double crochet before the chain space. And the reason why I'm doing that is it's basically going to create a faux stitch at the top, taking the place of the chain space. So I'm just going to work this down back through that last double crochet I did all the way through the post. I'm pinching it and then I kind of manipulate the yarn a little bit. So now when you look at it, the anatomy looks like there's your chain 1, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, chain 1. It doesn't have that weird look that sometimes comes with starting your double crochet with the chain 3 space. So I've gone this direction. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction. I've skipped the post that I came out of to try and help it. I'm going to very gently tug on that. I don't want to do too much because I just have this looking kind of the way I want it to. And then I'm going to have it go the opposite direction again. So I want to do it at least 3 ways. A lot of times I'll weave it in elsewhere. Sometimes when I'm not paying attention, I'll actually want it super secure. Like my brain will just be like, must secure this. And I'll start working down the post and around the center. In this case, I feel pretty good about how it's at, where it is. And I kind of manipulate it a little bit. move it around so that way when it actually does get used and worn and washed and jostled, it won't have many ends coming out. But the way in which I secure it, going backwards, forwards, backwards, there is such a small risk. I can't imagine there'd be a huge risk at all of it coming undone. The only thing is if someone sees the fraying, they'll be like, oh no, it's falling apart. It's not falling apart. It's very secure. It's just, you know, the jostling and moving around is just showing the ends. So I'm going to cut this off real quick with the little rotary cutter. And we will call this done. So there we go. That was the first step. If you're making your thing with all one color, then, you know, you'll need to make 16 of the full motifs. But if you're going to be changing out colors, you'll have to make at least 16 centers. If you're going to change out your colors, like this will be one color, this will be the second color, this will be a third, however you want to do it. Because it is 9, it works, it makes itself, it lends itself very well to doing 3 colors at a time. So you have 3, and then your third, and then your last. So however it goes, just keep watching the videos as I get around to uploading, well, making them. Pretty much as soon as I make them, I'll upload them. But this is part 1 of the motif. We're going to have at least 5 parts to the motif. And then we'll have either between 1 to 5 parts of the half motif when I make the half version of it. Like this. And then, well, more like this. Anyway, and then we'll have 2 or 3 videos related to how to join them. And then probably a video on how to go around it. And then the last video on how to join the tassel. So there's going to be quite a few. I just don't have the time or ability right now with work to sit down and do the whole thing from start to finish. But that is it. And thank you.